brilliant visual artist in his own right, but I've gotten to know him because he is a gatherer of artists. He creates communities of artists. And so when you say that the VAPA Center, which was an old Sears on North Tryon Street, and then it became the Hal Marshall Administrative Building, 2 years ago, Art convinced the county, like, I can turn this building you're not using into a community of artists. We talk about that word place and having spaces for artists. But what gets built in those spaces is community and collaboration. And that's what Art and his wife Joanne and their whole team at the VAPA Center have been able to create. It's remarkable that it's going to move from experiment to just something we can all rely on.
How cool is that, Art? So tell me, Art, how did you and your wife Joanne see this old Sears and go, that's the spot?
Well, thank you for having us, first of all, and thank you for Tim for supporting us here. But we didn't lead that initiative. We were just doing what we do, Joanne and I, as artists and creatives in the city. And when the county announced that they were taking Spirit Square offline, the artists were being displaced and they needed somewhere else to go. So a couple of the leaders in Charlotte got together, saw the Hal Marshall building and said, well, let's put an artist in there. And so they put out a call for, I think it was 26 different artists and arts organizations to participate in this experiment, if you will. 13 of them backed out. The other 13 said, let's do it. Became founding members and started to build this concept.
And what has it been like to grow it, to watch it kind of blossom, if you will?
It's been amazing. Recently we received a Trailblazer Award from Center City Partners doing the Vision Awards. But it was, one of the things I said, it's kind of a isolating way of realizing your dreams, because you got to pull back from what we normally do and kind of zero down and focus. But it's been really gratifying to see 13 different organizations and artists who had never known each other come together, form a business, and collaborate to make this place what it is. It's grown exponentially. In a meeting the other day, we were talking about how at one point we were just pushing this thing up the hill. Now we're trying to catch up to it as it's going down. It's taken its own life, and it's a great thing to have for Charlotte.
Which is wonderful. I have to know, too, for artists who are watching right now, and they're saying, oh, you're a gatherer of artists, so how do I get into the VAPA Center? What does that look like? How do you explain that to them?
First thing, don't call me. Don't call me. We have a process. Right now, we have about 360 plus creatives in the building that range from all different disciplines, from spoken word to gallery owners to musicians to comedy, traditional theater, painters, fabric artists. It goes on and on and on. So what we normally do is we open up our wait list 1st of April. It's not an April Fool's joke, but on April 1st, we open up our wait list for available spaces. Previously, we haven't gone through an extensive process of choosing people, but now we have a selection committee. So once they submit their application, they go to the selection committee, and then they're chosen to become a tenant at VAPA.
And I've only got 30 seconds, Tim, but I want to bring you in there because there's a wait list. You are one of the heads growing arts here in the city. What does that mean?
It means that there are just untold depths of talent here. And they're not only looking for places to work, but as I mentioned, communities, other artists, people to ping off of. And that's what I love about VAPA is artists bringing the best out of each other and sharing best practices. But for the community, there are shows at VAPA. There are classes you can take at VAPA. You can go and find artists that you want to buy gifts from or hire to do work there. When people say, oh, where do I find arts collected in Charlotte, whether they're someone who wants to support the arts or an artist trying to build their career, VAPA is the place to point them to and say, go experience this, and maybe if you love it, maybe one of those days you'll get it off the wait list.
Yeah, so there's other ways to explore it. You don't just have to be waiting for that. So let's put the information on your screen because there's so much to check out there. Head to the website, vapacenter.com, Instagram, X, Facebook. Art, thank you and your wife, Joanne, for taking the initiative with those other leaders.
Absolutely.
I love that, gatherer of artists.